Alright, let's play some Populous. The beginning. There's a little break there. What I liked about this game back then, I think it was the early 2000 maybe this came out. Could be wrong about that, but what I liked about it is the graphics were pretty good, and it's a kind of a 3D-ish. It seems like it's 2D and 3D together. It's kind of weird, especially when you see me rotating the view pretty soon. But this game was pretty unique. We have like a witch lady called a Shermana, I think it is. Shermana, yeah, Shermana maybe. And that's what I have right here. And this is just the beginning levels, and I'll probably play some more of this through when it's more difficult and get to see a lot more of the units. But anyway, she gets the ability to produce spells. And you can see it's kind of like a clan fight. You got one versus the other, and there's up to 4 of them, I think. The multiplayer on this game was really nice. I think we played through phone number, and we could also play through TCP/IP, I believe. Or if I can't remember its exactly phone number, but I believe you could play through a phone number. Could be wrong. I have to check back up on that. But we live on this 3D world, and the water is not inhabitable. So what that means is if I touch it, more than likely I'm going to die. Try not to get on there. And these are like ruins that I can, I guess, worship and get something out of. Sometimes it gives spells. I don't really go into depth about what the games are about, just showing gameplay off of them. If somebody likes them well enough, they'll probably try to get a hold of me or play it themselves somehow. Very interesting thing about this game is when you've got all the villagers, you actually he turns down for a second. You actually have to train them. It's not like other strategy wars where you can automatically go to train something and it just comes out. You have to actually take the villagers and put them in there. So it's pretty cool in that sense. I like that. Here, I'm gonna shoot this guy off into the water. Oh, that backfired. That's alright. I got a lightning bolt for this guy. Long gone. Yes, she really did say caca. And the fighting in this game was pretty good for that time too. Actually shows the fighting, which is pretty cool. But yeah, any of the stuff that you build for warriors, you actually have to put them through the buildings, which is really nice. You have stuff like the fire dudes, the priest. I don't know what they're exactly called, but it's because I never remember names. People should know me by now if they know that I don't remember specific names of things for some reason. Just my head is not good like that, I guess. Partly flawed. But yeah, this game was very nice game. It wasn't very hyped up. And what I mean by that was a lot of people didn't know about this game. And the way I knew about it was pretty interesting. I think it was in maybe Quake 3 or something, I can't remember. There was a demo disc. Maybe somebody will correct me somewhere in there. There was a demo disc, and this game was actually there. And I was just bored, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this out. So I installed it, and I played through the demo, and it was quite fun. I was like, wow, this game is really cool. So I had to go out and buy it. And they actually came out with an expansion, but I never really saw it. I don't think this game was marketed very well. Although it was just a great game in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people would say the same thing about it. there's so many strategies to it, and there's tons of spells for the multiplayer. And the teamwork is pretty exceptional too. I think what makes me not talk about this game as much as I want or would have versus Age of Empires is I just never really played it as much. The networking over the internet, like the lobbies, are a lot different. And for Age of Empires it was pretty simple. You could see tons of people, and their lobbies were, I can't remember, maybe JavaScripted or something. It wasn't as easy, there wasn't as much or many people, but overall this game was, in my opinion, really good. It may not have been better than those adrenaline rushes that I get from playing Age of Empires, going, you know, up the hills with the legions and stuff, and fighting all the units and tearing down towns, but this game was pretty dang close. One thing I don't like, though, is there's not a real top view, I mean, that you can play with. You could see earlier that I would look around, but you can't select your units, and it goes real high up in the sky. Kind of like a, I guess, world view, you can call it. See here I'm getting tornado spells. And there's ones with the fire, there's a fireball, lightning, bees. And there's all kinds of spells. There's even an Armageddon spell that is just absolutely awesome. If you ever get the Armageddon spell, which I'll probably try to show in some video somewhere, I'll probably show it, but it turns the ground into like a dome, a battle dome, and there'll be one side that's the enemy versus another side's enemy. So it would be me versus whoever. Or if there's 4 people, there's gonna, you know, be 4 sides, 4 teams, excuse me, and whatever units you have is what you fight with. So if you had just made a bunch of warriors and somebody cast Armageddon, then you'll have a bunch of warriors, and so you'd have like this massive, I think population's around 100 or something like that, maybe 200, but you'd have this massive fight down the middle. It was really cool. That was just, this game just absolutely blew me away for what it was. I was just totally shocked. I didn't think that, you know, something like this had existed at that time. And I think this game could have gone a lot further too. I just don't understand why I don't really see it. I don't think it was marketed very well. And that's what can happen to a lot of things that are great. If you don't market it, nobody knows about it, and you don't make those as much sales. Yeah, but if anyone's got Populous, we can play sometime. This is just a really great game. At the time that I was playing this, I probably would have given it a 9, somewhere close to a 10. Even though the graphics look a little blurry, the gameplay is smooth. It wasn't laggy. I mean, the programmers did a really nice job. Overall, there was just the sound, the fighting. There's only a couple things that I would want to be there, really, is the zooming in. I don't think you can zoom in properly where it looks detailed. To be able to zoom up so you can access your units a little bit better. And that's pretty much it that I can think of for this game in particular. I mean, there's only a few things that I thought. Right here where you can see, I actually have units and I push G for guard, and they circle my Shermana lady, we'll just call her the witch doctor. Witch doctor. Boom. But yeah, and you can see, like, right there, he cut the guy, whoosh, took out his neck, basically. But this game is just great. See, guarding over my witch doctor right there. It's got great effects. I mean, it was a great game at the time it came out. See, look at that fighting. Now, there's a little glitchiness too. I had to play this on Windows capability, Windows 98, because the mouse wouldn't work. And so I'm on Windows XP, but it wasn't playing, and I couldn't understand why the mouse wasn't working. And then I just changed the capability so I could play it. but I do notice a little bit of glitching graphical errors, but I know when I was playing it back then they were not there. I think it has something to do with the updated graphics now compared to back then, or maybe the operating system, but of course I can't go backwards with the new hardware today. So see the guy, he's got like a cloud of dust in his head, right there on top of his head. I mean, whoever really went through with this, the designing and everything, the art, there was some heart put into this game. That's what I really enjoy, is when, you know, this game was so great, it's some heart into it. I just wanted to see some more of it. I wanted to play some more of it. And even that, like you could see right there, destroying the buildings, different than Age of Empires or most strategy war games, going inside the building and taking it and ripping it apart. And when there's units in there, oh, let me dodge all these so that my units don't run away. But yeah, running into the building and destroying it, if there's units in there, they actually kick you out and they have a fight. It's pretty cool. We're going to hit her off the water. And there's plenty of stuff to build. I mean, the way they have the menu on the left is very well made. You can see how many units I have. Fighters, warriors, excuse me. Warriors and just peasants, I guess. I mean, they really thought this game out when they were making it. I'm just totally shocked, you know. I was playing the demo. I think you could play it multiplayer-wise. I'm not sure if I remember that, but I was playing with a friend, and since then we bought the game together and played a lot often. I should say just a lot. Just a lot often doesn't sound right. It's probably not even proper grammar. A lot often, no way. But yeah, we played quite a lot. Most of the games I won, but he did, of course, dominate me some few times. It just went really on the strategies. I was just better at economic-wise again. I mean, that's what makes the main difference, I think, in these strategy war games, is having the resources to keep pumping out army. Plus, with the spells, I could be really strategic. I've always been a real strategic person. Such like moving the ground in a certain way and making the towers really high. That was one thing we always did. We'd use the spells to make the hillside so high, and then we build the tower, and then you're so high up there you have range with your witch doctor lady. That's the end of that level. Go on to the next thing. Oh, the priest level. Yes. This won't be too long a video then. And so, like, you can see they have to cut that wood to build those buildings, and they level the ground. I'm just looking around the map. Gotta go worship that thing. But, yeah, you can see they level the ground, and then they go cut the wood, and they put the wood there, and the frames there. I mean, this is getting... I was just totally surprised, how could Bullfrog make a game like this? And nothing had, you know, had been better than this at the time, in my opinion. It was just like, this has got pretty great graphics, good gameplay, just overall a great game. Yeah, my friend and I would play this constantly, fighting. We would change the map quite often with spells, and make the witch doctor fall in the water in different ways. You have earthquake spells, you got swamp spells, where you make a swamp and units can't get through it. If they do, they die. It's pretty awesome. So if you have a bunch of units chasing, you just put that spell right down. You have a dragon spell, so I think that's what it's called. Some kind of invincibility, like a ghost. You have different units. You have spies. You have balloons. You have boats. I mean, this game just really went out out hard on just being a great game. I'm gonna say so much about it that way. Just keep saying great game, great game, great game. Pathfinding in it is really exceptional. You don't really find the units getting stuck, but then again the maps are pretty big, so it doesn't really have that problem. Yeah, playing a game like this, I think a lot of people that design strategy war games should learn something from this game right here. We don't have low population. It's smooth. It's pretty good graphics. I mean, it's not the graphics nowadays, but back then it was great. It's still good graphics. The sounds are there. The content's there. Just everything was on spot. And the game was really not that crash. It wasn't glitchy where it'd crash as easily either. Yeah, if someone wants to play this online sometime, we'd play this deathmatch. I think is what it's called, they just call it online. But you can see the wood and the people that are needed to build it. Just for upgrading, like the amount of time before it becomes a full hut. I think the one thing that also held back that I just started to remember now from playing this game as often is the competition for it wasn't really there. When I started being my friend so often towards the end, he didn't want to play anymore because he'd get dominated every time. But we had so much fun playing this game. Maybe that's more of I did because of the domination, but you know, once I started getting dominated, I learned real quick how to get better than anybody else, pretty much. I say pretty much because it really depends. You obviously can't be the best at every game, nor do I want to be, but this is a good question. If you're going to be a game designer, do you think you should be the best player at your game, competitive-wise? I've had people say yes and no. I think it's important to be good at your... If it's a strategy game, definitely be good at it, because you're designing it. You want it to be balanced and fair, but at the same time show that you know how to play your own game. And it's interesting to talk about it like that, because from what I've heard with Gears of War 1, I'm not sure if that was true, but the game designer didn't like what he had created, and I think I've said this before. So the game that he created wasn't his own when you think about it that way. It was something else, and he changed it into more of his design for Gears of War 2, which I really didn't like. Gears of War 2 Horde is okay, but the patches and everything they did, just totally messed it up for me. But so he had changed it, and does that the fact that he wasn't good at his own game changed his mind about his game and changed how he was going to have his game made? So is that a good or bad thing? Think about that, a good or bad thing. Now we're going to go up here and fight this priest. Now that priest, if you don't have other priests, he can actually convert your fighters, so we have to have a mixed army at this point. This is where I decided to just have a witch doctor fight, and I believe I get owned. Because I have a hard time trying to move the mouse, it's not so fast. And I don't remember the hotkeys either. At one point I thought I was winning, and then I get pretty pissed off and just have to cut through the biatch. Saying, look at those effects, I think that was great. Fire on the ass. Just get messed up. Yeah, here's where I think I got her. Bitch slapped right there, and oh, she got me instead.
So she got my power. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shank you right here. Here's the go. Take that. Yeah, you can see this game was a very interesting game. If you have not played it, you're going to be like, wow, I want to check this out a little bit. But yes, your witch doctor does respawn. Your mana respawns. And that's the end of it. So I'm going to end off this video, guys, and, well, tell me what you think of this game so far. Anything that I've talked about. If you like the games that I'm playing, then go ahead and like and subscribe or whatever. I'm going to be playing some SWAT 4 next, which I'm a little bit excited about. Reason being, SWAT 4 was a pretty good game, except there were some problems with it that I think should have been fixed, but we'll talk about that when we get to the video. So, I'll catch you later. ZachOX out.